everyone, and welcome back to another marvelous video. Scooby-Doo is more than a cartoon dog. He's a childhood companion, a mystery-solving icon, and the reason many of us still say Ruh-roh without thinking twice. Since 1969, this goofy Great Dane has led us through haunted mansions while teaching us that most monsters are just people in rubber suits. But the question stands. How did a talking, snack-obsessed dog become a global legend? That's what we're going to find out in today's video as we're digging into the true anatomy and origins of Scooby-Doo. From his creation to his quirky name to his family and the psychology behind his cowardly courage, it's time to grab your Scooby Snacks because we're heading into Mystery Inc. territory. Before we get into this explanation, we do have a very quick request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to the channel. It's a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Number 1. How did Scooby-Doo come into existence? You might be amazed to learn that Scooby-Doo was born out of concern, not for ghosts, but for parents. In the late 60s, American television networks were under fire as shows like Space Ghost and the Herculoids were criticized for their violence. This increase in violence-based entertainment made advocacy groups demand safer Saturday morning programming, and so CBS was confronted with a dilemma. It needed a new kind of cartoon that was chock full of suspense but held back on the punches and lasers. Essentially, what CBS needed was something spooky but harmless. Writers Joe Ruby and Ken Spears were assigned the task of cracking this code by Hanna-Barbera Productions, a promising cartoon production company that was later absorbed by Warner Bros. Animation. The writer duo pitched Mysteries 5, which followed a teenage band solving supernatural cases with their dog, as their first plan, but CBS executive Fred Silverman believed the tone was too intense. Although Mysteries 5 didn't come to fruition, it became the basis of something legendary when, in response to the first pitch by the writers, one note said, "Make the dog the star and make it funnier." The teen characters were remodeled after the archetypes from The Many Loves of Dobie Gillis: the leader, the brain, the fashion icon, and the beatnik. But it was the dog, originally named Too Much, who became the heart of the show. Animator Iwo Takamoto designed him imperfectly on purpose. A bow-legged Great Dane with a goofy face which was far from majestic. The writers followed a set strategy as the path to success. Every episode introduced a ghost, followed by hijinks, traps, and then the grand reveal. There was no real magic, just crooks in masks. This story taught kids that fear could be unmasked literally. When Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Premiered in 1969, it broke every trend. There were no superheroes and no violence in sight. It was a mix of mysteries, music, and a scared dog doing his best. What made Scooby-Doo work was that instead of removing fear, it made fear funny, and that simple formula became a Saturday morning legend. 2. What's the real origin behind his name? Just like its tale of origin, the story behind the name that became a household classic is intriguing as well. Believe it or not, Scooby-Doo's name wasn't born in a studio. In fact, it was born on a plane. CBS executive Fred Silverman was flying back from a trip while reviewing concepts for the new mystery cartoon. As he was listening to Frank Sinatra's Strangers in the Night, he came upon the improvised line, "Doobie Doobie Doo." That playful rhythm stuck in his head. By the time the plane landed, Too Much the dog had a new name: Scooby-Doo. Originally, the character was part of a band named Mysteries 5, and the dog was meant to play bongos. But the moment his name changed, so did his destiny. Silverman decided that instead of the teens, the dog should be the star of the show, and that's how the show's title shifted to Scooby-Doo, Where Are You?, cementing him as the heartbeat of the mystery. While there were some other names floating around, like Whoop-Doo, Snoopy-Doo, and even That Dog, nothing else captured personality quite like the name Scooby-Doo. The name carried jazz, comedy, and rhythm. It made him lovable before he even spoke. Sinatra might not have known it, but a single scat line helped name one of animation's greatest icons. 3. What kind of dog is Scooby-Doo really? The million-dollar question. What kind of dog is our beloved Scooby-Doo? Well, Scooby is officially a Great Dane, but he's also unlike any Great Dane ever seen at a dog show. Real Great Danes are known for elegance. They're tall, muscular, and poised like canine royalty. But Scooby, he's all wobbly knees and questionable balance. It all started out innocently enough as the animator Iwo Takamoto actually consulted a studio colleague who bred champion Great Danes to learn the ideal traits. Then, in his own words, he created the opposite. Thus, Scooby-Doo gained an oversized chin, bowed legs, uneven spots, and became the physical embodiment of nervous energy. Eventually, his clumsiness became a design philosophy. While majestic dogs inspire awe, Scooby inspires empathy. He looks like a dog who might trip over his own paws while running from a ghost. Some fans even speculated that he was a mixed breed or an exaggerated mutt, but canon confirms that his full name is Scooby-doo, the Great Dane. When kids looked at Scooby, they didn't see an intimidating dog, they saw a friend, and in animation, personality beats pedigree every time. 4. Can Scooby-Doo actually talk? Scooby-Doo exists in that strange cartoon space between animal and human, and nowhere is that more obvious than in his speech. He doesn't speak fluent English, but he also doesn't simply bark. His voice, crafted by Don Messick, blends growls, rolled R's, and muffled vowels, thus giving birth to iconic phrases like "Ruh-roh, Raggy" and "Rah?" Messick reportedly based Scooby's voice on a mix of a timid dog and a mumbling beatnik, making his speech goofy yet heartfelt. But the real debate is, does Scooby really talk in universe? In early series like Where Are You?, his words sound closer to dog-like noises that only Shaggy interprets, but by the 2000s shows like What's New Scooby-Doo, the gang responds to him conversationally, treating him like another teammate rather than a pet. There are moments where strangers hear him speak and react in shock, hinting at the fact that he shouldn't be talking at all. This gimmick eventually became a running joke in the franchise. Some fans see his speech as cartoon logic, while others treat it as a magical gift, but one thing is clear, Scooby doesn't talk to everyone, only to those he trusts. Much like a real pet, he saves his voice for his family. 5. Why is Scooby so human-like in behavior? Scooby-Doo might be a Great Dane, but half the time he behaves more like a nervous human in a dog suit. He walks on 2 legs, tiptoes past danger, dives into costumes, and even drives cars when panicked. This blend of human and canine traits isn't accidental, it comes straight from Hanna-Barbera's legacy of anthropomorphic humor, seen in characters like Yogi Bear, Huckleberry Hound, and Snagglepuss. Like all other things, Scooby simply perfected it. He doesn't respond like a pet, he reacts like a friend. He covers his eyes when scared, negotiates for snacks, and celebrates victories with geeky dances. In group conversations, he participates with expressions, gestures, and his signature half-speech, making him feel like the 5th member of Mystery Inc. Yet he never fully loses his dog identity. He still whimpers at thunder, digs through food hungrily, and occasionally chases ghosts the real way dogs chase mailmen. It's this dual nature, dog instincts fused with human emotion, that makes his character so relatable. Scooby is just like us, trying to survive another haunted hallway. 6. What's the psychology behind his cowardice and courage? Scooby-Doo is one of the most lovable cowards in animation history, but his fear isn't just a running gag, it's the foundation of his heroism. Unlike fearless characters who rush into danger, Scooby represents reluctant bravery, a concept that's far more human. He shakes, hides, and whimpers, yet still runs into haunted castles if it means helping his friends. That contradiction is key. He's terrified, never selfish. Psychologists often refer to this as the coward hero archetype. This refers to a character who gains courage not from confidence, but from connection. Scooby doesn't chase villains because he's bold, he does it because Shaggy is screaming beside him. Courage, for him, is communal. Fear is his instinct, but loyalty is his choice. Paired with Shaggy, Scooby becomes a part of classic comedy tradition, echoing duels like Laurel and Hardy or Abbott and Costello. They aren't brave warriors, they're survival experts. Their fear actually builds suspense for the audience. When they panic, we lean in, waiting to see how they'll accidentally save the day. What makes Scooby truly fascinating is that his defining trait, fear, is also his strength. It keeps him alert, reactive, and surprisingly lucky. While Fred sets traps and Velma deduces clues, Scooby survives through instinct and timing. He might jump into Shaggy's arms or dive headfirst into a barrel, but those frantic moves often trigger the unmasking moment. Children relate to Scooby because he shows it's okay to be afraid. Adults relate to him because he shows up anyway. In a genre full of perfect heroes, Scooby is imperfect, trembling, and honest. And that makes his accidental acts of bravery feel even more real, because it's the kind that comes not from fearlessness, but from love. 7. What do Scooby Snacks actually represent? Scooby Snacks aren't just treats, they're psychology in a biscuit. Every time danger appears, the gang shakes a box of Scooby Snacks. Born as a running gag in the writer's room, they were originally just a simple bribe, but over time, they evolved into a symbol of courage and comic negotiation. Scooby and Shaggy will face any ghost, if the price is edible. What's fascinating is how even the gang treats them with mystery. Velma and Daphne sometimes eat them, suggesting they're human safe. In other scenes, they look like dog biscuits. Over time, their ambiguity became part of the joke. Are they treats, cookies, or just placebo bravery? In real life, Scooby Snacks became so iconic, companies produced both dog treats and human graham cookies under the name. Symbolically, Scooby Snacks are more than food, they're motivation. They represent the idea that even reluctant heroes need reassurance. It's goofy but relatable, because let's be real, who among us hasn't bargained with ourselves before doing something scary? 8. How has Scooby's design evolved over the years? Scooby-Doo's design has changed with every era of animation, yet he's never lost the floppy charm that made him iconic. In the original Scooby-Doo Where Are You from 1969, his animation was limited by budget. Hanna-Barbera reused walk cycles and reaction frames, giving Scooby that jittery, awkward shuffle. As the franchise entered the late 70s and 80s, Scooby was subtly redesigned to be rounder and slightly softer. His eyes grew wider and his muzzle shortened, making his expressions more readable for comedic timing. Shows like The Scooby-Doo Show and Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo introduced bolder reactions with exaggerated jaw drops, frozen mid-air runs, wild spinning legs leaning fully into slapstick. By the 1990s, with A Pup Named Scooby-Doo, animators embraced a cartoony, exaggerated style. Scooby appeared puppy-like, with oversized paws and squishier movement. This era leaned into elastic animation, which allowed for more physical comedy. The 2000s brought digital ink and paint, making Scooby cleaner and more vibrant in What's New Scooby-Doo. His coat became a warmer shade of brown, his spots more defined, and his animation smoother, matching faster dialogue and modern pacing. When the 2020 movie Scoob pushed him into full CGI, fans worried he might lose his essence. The film preserved his signature traits, the tilted head, eyebrow raises, and awkward gallop. He gained textured fur and 3D depth, yet he still moved like a dog made of jelly. Through every redesign, animators followed one golden rule: never make Scooby graceful. He isn't a majestic Great Dane, he's a lovable klutz. No matter the medium, Scooby's soul remains unchanged. He remains a scaredy dog with the heart of a hero. 9. How has his relationship with Shaggy defined him? Scooby-Doo and Norville Shaggy Rogers are one of animation's greatest partnerships. Inspired partly by 1960s counterculture, their bond mirrors the era's laid-back beatnik buddy vibe. They're two gentle souls who never asked to be heroes. They'd rather find a sandwich than a suspect, yet somehow they always stumble into the heart of the mystery. What makes their friendship iconic is balance. Shaggy understands Scooby's fear without judgment. He negotiates and reassures, but never forces bravery. Scooby, in turn, mirrors Shaggy's emotions, panicking together and finding courage together. They hide in barrels, wear ridiculous disguises, and sprint before asking questions. But when one is in danger, the other forgets fear instantly. There are countless moments where Scooby tackles a monster to save Shaggy, trembling but determined. While the rest of Mystery Inc. represents intellect, leadership, and logic, Shaggy and Scooby represent heart. Their loyalty is raw, unpolished, and real. They don't solve mysteries with deduction, they survive them with devotion. 10. What's the real secret behind Scooby's intelligence? Scooby-Doo may trip over his own paws, but he's far from clueless. Beneath the panic is a surprisingly sharp mind. He recognizes danger, reads expressions, and understands complex instructions, which isn't exactly typical dog behavior. There are countless moments where Scooby uses logic or even disguises to escape villains. He will jump into costumes, improvise fake accents, or hatch plans with Shaggy, using nothing but props and panic. Writers cleverly walk a line between cartoon absurdity and believable pet instinct. Scooby doesn't solve mysteries like Velma, but he often senses danger before anyone else does. He reacts to tone, tension, and body language, which is incredibly true to real canine intuition. Fans even argue that Scooby plays dumb on purpose, using fear as a shield to avoid responsibility until it matters. What truly makes Scooby special is his emotional intelligence. He knows when Shaggy needs reassurance, when the gang is in danger, and bravery can't be avoided. He might not understand every trap, but he understands loyalty. In many ways, Scooby represents the dream pet, not obedient, but understanding, not genius smart, but heart smart. And in a world of mask and mysteries, heart is often the sharpest tool of all. 11. Who are Scooby-Doo's family members? What's the deal with Scrappy-Doo? Scooby-Doo may constantly scream for help, but he isn't alone in the world. He comes from a surprisingly large and eccentric canine family, with each member reflecting a different piece of his personality. His lineage was gradually revealed across TV specials, comics, and spin-offs, turning the Doo name into an entire legacy. At the top of the family tree are Mumsy-Doo and Dada-Doo, his seldom-seen parents. They don't contribute much to the mysteries, but they establish one important fact. Scooby wasn't born brave or heroic. He came from a family of gentle, emotional dogs, affectionate, quirky, and a little dramatic. In short, Scooby's fear wasn't learned, it was inherited. Then there's Scooby-Dumb, his slow-speaking, gray-coated cousin introduced in the Scooby-Doo show from 1976. With a great detective hat and zero detective intuition, Dumb represents Scooby's goofiest instincts. He's eager to help, but absolutely clueless about how. He often shouts, "Duh-huh," while missing the most obvious clues. Yet, like Scooby, his heart is always in the right place. He doesn't solve mysteries, but he reminds us that innocence too has a role in adventure. On the braver side of the family stands Yabba-Doo, Scooby's cowboy brother, featured in Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo shorts. Yabba is everything Scooby isn't, upright, fearless, and justice-driven. While Scooby runs from ghosts, Yabba charges at outlaws. He embodies the courage Scooby rarely shows, hinting that bravery might actually run in the Doo bloodline, but it occasionally runs away from Scooby. But no family member sparked more controversy than Scrappy-Doo, Scooby's fiery nephew, introduced in 1979. Designed to save declining ratings, Scrappy brought a new energy. He was loud, fearless, and ready to fight anything in his path. Puppy power became his piercing battle cry. At first, kids loved him. He shook up the format, turning fear into offense. But over time, audiences were tired of his aggression. Scrappy became loud where Scooby was lovable, stubborn where Scooby was humble. By the 2000s, he was so disliked that the 2002 live-action film made him the surprise villain, which was a meta joke on how fans felt. Yet, Scrappy's existence is meaningful. He represents ambition, ego, and the desire to be taken seriously, traits Scooby rejects. While Scrappy demands to be a hero, Scooby becomes one by accident. Through his family, we see Scooby's true nature: scared, flawed, loyal, but ultimately, love. The Doo family isn't about mystery solving, it's about showing that courage comes in many forms, and sometimes the bravest thing you can do is just stick with the people you love. Marvelous verdict! Scooby-Doo is a reminder of what friendship, fear, and fun can create when they all ride in the same van. Through haunted mansions and masked villains, Scooby never needed superpowers. He taught us that courage can be clumsy, loyalty can be hungry, and heroes can be scared out of their fur and still show up. From Shaggy's snack partner to a pop culture legend, Scooby has outlived trends, reboots, and even Scrappy-Doo. He didn't redefine mystery by solving it, he redefined it by making it fun. And that's why, decades later, we're still calling out, "Scooby-Doo, where are you?" That's all we got for you this time, but if you enjoyed our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Otherwise, thanks for watching, stay safe out there, and have a marvelous day.